Dear students, in this class, let us discuss about finding the molecular weight of an unknown solute using elevation of boiling point as a colligative property. So, we have learned what is a colligative property and what are the types of colligative properties. What are the different colligative properties? Elevation of boiling point, depression of freezing point, osmotic pressure, and vapor pressure lowering. So colligative property is the one where the property depends on number of moles of solute and not on the nature of solute. So it is applicable only for a dilute solutions, not for concentrated solutions. So we have discussed the elevation of boiling point as a colligative property in the previous class, and also proved that elevation of boiling point is a colligative property because elevation delta T is directly proportional to the number of moles of solute, small m. Okay, so in the previous class, as shown this one, delta T equal to RT0 squared W2 M1 by W1 M2, where this W2 by is noted as M. Okay, if I write this one, so this become RT0 squared by delta HV into this one M into capital M1. Okay, so when W1 is equal to 1 kilogram, so this equation delta T is valid. So we proved that elevation of boiling point is a colligative property which depends on the number of moles of solute and also depends on the solvent. Okay. From this we have also learned what is a ebullioscopic constant or molar elevation constant. That is the temperature required to rise to 1 degree centigrade by 1 kilogram of a solvent. Okay, which is molar elevation constant can be called as ebullioscopic constant. Okay, so the ebullioscopic constant for a solvent is when 1 mole of solute is added to 1 kilogram of solvent. Okay, the rise in temperature measured, okay, is called the molar ebullioscopic constant. So the ebullioscopic constant is popularly known as delta T is equal to Kb into so small m. Okay, where m1 equal to 1. Okay, so this is the molar ebullioscopic constant we have derived. So now let us discuss how to find the molecular weight of an unknown solute. You suppose you are given a solute whose molecular weight is not known. Okay, and provided with the ebullioscopic constant of a particular solvent, you can calculate molecular weight of an unknown solute. Okay, so here is the formula. So look at this. Okay, so this equation can be rearranged to find M2 is the molecular weight of solute. Okay, M2 molecular weight of solute. Okay, W2 weight of solute. M1 molecular weight of solvent. W1 is the molecular weight of solvent. Okay, so if you want to find the molecular weight of solute M2, equation can be rearranged. M2 is equal to RT0 squared by delta HV. Okay, W2 into M1 all divided by W1. W2 M1 by all divided. So provided you must know the gas constant the boiling temperature, latent heat of vaporization, or altogether you should know Kb. Okay, W2 M1 whole divided by W1. So if you know the weight of solute, molecular weight of solvent, and weight of the solvent, W1 is the weight of solvent, M1 is the molecular weight of solvent, W2 is the weight of a solute. So if you know these parameters along with the ebullioscopic constant, you can find the molecular weight. Okay, so let me give you a problem, okay, a solved problem, and then you can further try. So I have written a problem on the board. Okay, so look at this. A solution containing 2.44 gram of solute, 2.44 gram of solute, that is W2, okay, in 75 gram of solvent, that is W1, okay, which is boiled at 100.413 degrees centigrade, okay. Calculate the molar mass of solute, that is M2 is what? We need to find this M2 from this equation, and you are provided with the Kb, the molar ebullioscopic constant, 0.52 kilogram Kelvin per mole. Okay, so how to solve this problem? So let us see, this value is given, Kb is directly given as 0.52 kilogram Kelvin per mole. So the remaining parameter, then we have to find delta T. Okay, so look at this. So I have this is a mistake. I have make a small mistake here. I have corrected it. Delta T has to come here. Delta T, delta HV. Okay. So molecular weight of the solute should be calculated. Okay. And this value RT0 squared by delta HV into M1 is called a molar ebullioscopic constant, which is given here. So I can write this equation M2 as Kb divided by delta T, okay, into W2 by W1. Okay, this equation can be written RT0 squared. So Kb in this equation is equal to RT0 squared M1 by delta HV. This is the molar ebullioscopic constant. So remaining delta T W2 by W1. Okay. So clear? Are you able to follow this? Kb by delta T W2 by W1. Okay, so if I directly substitute here, I can find out. Okay, so what is W2? W2 is 2.44 gram. So I should convert it into kilogram, then 10 power minus 3 kilogram. Okay, 10 power minus 3 kilogram. And this is W1 is 75 in 10 power minus 3 kilogram. Okay, and other parameter is Kb is given, and the delta T, how to calculate the delta T? So the boiling, after the addition of a solute, the solution boils at a 100.413 degrees centigrade. Okay, that means even if you calculate it in terms of Kelvin, it is 273 plus 100.413, 373.413. Okay, so 373.413 minus 373 Kelvin is equal to 0.413 Kelvin. So delta T is equal to 0.413 Kelvin. So let me substitute everything here. So Kb is equal to 0.52, okay, and W2 is 2.44 in 10 power minus 3 whole divided by W1 75 in 10 power minus 3. Delta T is 0.413 Kelvin. So if you substitute these values, you will get answer around 40.96 grams per mole. 40.96 grams per mole. Okay. So if the molecular weight of solvent is given, similar way you can find out. So provided you are given a ebullioscopy constant, elevation of boiling point, weight of solvent, weight of solute, you can calculate the molecular weight of a particular solvent. Okay. Now let us go for determination of a elevation of boiling point by experimental methods. Determination of elevation of boiling point by experimental methods. Earlier, Beckmann's method was used to determine the elevation of boiling point, and however, it was inaccurate, and you need to have some approximations. You need to, so to nowadays we have a precise techniques where accurate techniques are available to note down the elevation of boiling point. So now we are going to discuss two important methods. One is called Landsberger's method and another is called Cottrell's method. Okay. So these two methods avoids superheating of the water. Okay. So the very one important point we have to note down during this measurement is we must avoid the superheating of water. Okay, that means so you can measure the elevation of boiling point. At the same time, the temperature required to heat the glasswares and the thermometer, that will also be calculated. Okay, so in order to avoid that, direct heating to the solvent or a solution should be avoided. Okay, so if you avoid the direct heating of solvent to the solution, then you can exactly measure the elevation of boiling point. So let me draw the elevation, Landsberger's method, elevation of Landsberger's method. So this method consists of a conical flask A, which consists of the solvent, okay, and this can be heated up, okay, and the heated vapors passes through the another tube, okay, which is like this. So this is a thermometer, is a so here you have another vessel B, another vessel B, and this is also kept here. The solvent, this again the same solvent, okay. So from this sideway you have a U-tube, and with this which can be condensed. The delivery tube. So here you will have a small orifice. There will be a small fine orifice. Okay, look at this H. I note it by the symbol H. Okay. So let me explain you the diagram. So I have a conical flask in which the solvent is taken up and the solvent can be heated up. The heated vapor passes through this, okay, and gets condensed here in this another. You have another bulb tube B, U tube B, where the same solvent is taken up. Okay, and through the thermometer is inserted in the bulb B. Through the sides of the bulb U tube B, you have a small orifice. Look at this, there is a small orifice, and through this orifice the heated vapors can once again escape. The heated vapors can escape out, passes through this, and they get condensed. So this you can collect drops of here. Okay. So how to perform the experiment? First take up the solvent, heat up the solvent, and the solvent passes through the U tube. It gets condensed. The latent heat of condensation of the vapor, listen carefully, the latent heat of condensation of the vapor is helpful to heat this solvent again. So the solvent, by taking up the latent heat of condensation, okay, it boils, okay, so the temperature slowly rises and maintain a constant value and starts boiling. When the solution starts boiling, the temperature remains a constant, okay. So that temperature is noted as the boiling point of the particular solvent, okay. So once the solution boils, vapors will come out through the small orifice H. So this is the first stage. So you find out the boiling point of a particular solvent, that is T, okay. You find out T, solvent. Then add little amount of solute into the solvent. So now it becomes a solute plus solvent becomes a solution. You get a solution here, okay. So if you add little amount of solute to this, okay, so it becomes a solution, and repeat the same process. Vapors evaporates, comes down here, latent heat of condensation heats up this solution now, temperature rises, remains constant at its boiling point. The boiling point is now noted as T0. This is for solution. So the T0 minus T is equal to delta T, the elevation of boiling point. Okay. You might now ask me a question as to why we heat up the solvent here. Why not we directly heat the solvent this side? Okay. But this is to be avoided, because when you heat the solvent or solution directly, the superheating takes place. Okay. So the temperature of the tubes, glasswares will also be taken into account. Okay, so therefore method becomes inaccurate. So only to avoid the superheating, we prefer heating the solvent, sending the heated solvent to heat up the solution or solvent once again. Okay, so this is Lawrence-Burgers method of determination of elevation of boiling point. You have one more method called Contreras method, which is that I will explain you. So this is another method for determining the elevation of boiling point. So in this method you have a glassware with measurements of for measuring the solvent level. Here you have an inverted funnel. This is an inverted funnel with a porous fragments. You will have some porous fragments. Okay. So what happens? The edge of the funnel is coupled with Beckman thermometer. The edge of the funnel is coupled with a Beckman thermometer, and the vapors, excess vapors will pass through this, can get be condensed. Okay. So when you heat up, first you take up the solvent. Okay, heat the solution. The heated solvent passes through the porous. Heated solvent passes through the porous fragments of this funnel, and directly it passes through this, elevates through this, and where the solution is filled. Solvent is, the thermometer end is immersed or dipped in the solvent. Okay. So now, once the heated solvent passes through this and heats this solution, okay, the temperature should be noted as T0 for a solvent. Then add little amount of solute into the solution, and again heat this solution, and the heated solution now passes through this porous fragment, reaches here, it heats up the solution here, and temperature should be noted as T1 for a solution. Now T0 minus T1 or T1 minus T0 is the delta T, the elevation of a boiling point. Okay. So what is the advantage of the porous, the funnel, fragmented porous funnel? The fragmented porous, through the fragmented porous funnel, the solvent or solution passes through this and heat the solution kept here. The solution is not directly heated. The solution is not directly heated by the burner, but it is heated through the solvent which is kept already inside. Okay, so superheating is avoided in this case. But through this method also, you can precisely method the elevation of boiling point. Okay, so this session we have discussed the determination of molecular weight of unknown solute, okay, by elevation of boiling point, okay, from the delta T and Kb values, and we have measured the elevation of boiling point delta T value experimentally by two methods. One is the Lands-Berger method, another is the Cottrell's method. Okay, so with this we will move on to the next colligative property in the next class. Thank you.